Good morning, guys. This is your review for the end of the week to go over MD1 and MD2, the two skills that we did this week, measurement and then line plots. So I'm going to go through both of them right now, so it might be a little bit longer of a video. I would recommend watching this video and then either printing out the PDFs attached to your Google Classroom or just opening that doc on your computer and doing the work on a piece of paper and then coming back to this video to check your work to make sure you did it correctly. Then you can take your quizzes. So it's gonna take you a while, but if you pay attention and you focus and you take your time on this, you're gonna do great on those quizzes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Dylan needs 5 yards of trim for a craft project. He already has 2 feet of trim at home. How many more feet of trim does Dylan need to buy from the store? So what we need to do is convert this 5 yards into feet and then subtract what he has to figure out how much he needs. So we're going 5 yards equals how many feet? All right, so we're going from a larger unit of measurement to a smaller. So we're gonna multiply 5 times however many feet are in 1 yard, which is 3. So that's 15 feet. That is not your answer. That's how many he needs. He already has 2. So we're gonna subtract 2 to get 13 feet. This is what he needs to purchase from the craft store. Number 2, 1 and 1.5 gallons equals how many quarts? All right, I have to draw this out. Oh, there are 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. All right, so if 4 quarts equals 1 gallon, what's a half of a quart? Well, 1/2 of 4, or 1/2 times 4 equals 2, right? So 4 quarts plus 2 quarts equals 6 quarts. So 1.5 gallons equals 6 quarts. 26 inches equals how many feet? Well, so what we're doing is we're going from inches to feet, so a smaller unit of measurement to a larger unit of measurement. So we're going to divide. So 26 divided by however many inches are in 1 foot, 12. That equals 2 with a remainder, because 2 times 12 is 24, a remainder of 2, which is 2/12, which is simplified to be 2 1/6 feet. Oops. Tate fills a container with 9.5 cups of lemonade. Tate drinks 32 fluid ounces of lemonade. How many fluid ounces are left? Okay, so we did not go over fluid ounces and cups when we did capacity, but there are 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup. So like when you are drinking a can of pop or something like that, that's what fluid ounces means. So we are gonna need to go from, we're gonna need to figure out how many ounces are in this many cups, right? So 9.5 times 8. So 9 1/2 times 8. I'm gonna convert this into an improper fraction. So that's 19 over, actually, no, 19 over 2 times 8. And that would be 80 plus 72. 80 plus 72 is 152 divided by 2, which equals 76. Okay, so there are 76 ounces or fluid ounces in 9.5 cups, okay? But the question, that's not our answer. The question is, he drank 32 of them, so how many did he have left? So now we have to do 76 minus 32, which equals 44. So your answer is 44 fluid ounces, okay? And just a reminder, after you've done this work and you've checked your work by watching this video again, you can have this out in front of you when you take that quiz as a reference. Your quiz is gonna look very similar to this. I just pretty much took that quiz and changed the numbers here. All right, 1.5 feet equals how many inches? So 1.5 feet equals how many inches? Okay, we're going from a larger to a smaller, so we need to multiply. So we're multiplying 1.5 times however many inches are in 1 foot, which is 12, right? So 1.5 times 12, we can do this with a decimal or you can do a fraction. You could do 1.5 times 12, or you could do 1.5 times 12 like this. So I'm gonna do it like this so I can just quickly multiply instead of having to flip this into an improper fraction and then flip it back. So this is 10, 30, okay, bring down your 0, 5, and 1. So your answer is 180. Is that right? 180 inches are in 1.5 feet? No, you've got to move that decimal over one place. So your answer is 18 inches are in 1.5 feet. All right, so 20 ounces equals how many pounds? This one's pretty simple, but you are going to have to do some critical thinking here. So I know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, right? So if 16 ounces are in 1 pound, how many ounces would be left over from this? So I know I'm going to have 1 pound, and then there's 4 out of 16 left, right? So because I did 20 minus 16 like that, and there's 4 left in that 20 pounds to group into a group of 16, which I can't. And so this can be simplified as 1/4. So it's 1 1/4. This was 18. Look at the table below. It shows how much water each person drank in 1 week. Who drank the most water in 1 week? So if you notice, this says gallons, gallons, and quarts. So we already know that if you look at this, 2 gallons and 2 quarts, you already know that Ava drank more than Trevor. So I'm just gonna get rid of Trevor. We don't even need to deal with Trevor. But we do need to convert 9 quarts into gallons to figure out if Brandon drank more. Okay, so how many quarts are in a gallon? 4. So we're gonna put these into groups of 4. So 9 divided by 4 equals 2 with a remainder of 1/4. And written as a decimal, this would be 2.25. And so did Ava still drink more? She sure did. So your answer is Ava. Maria buys a 1 liter soda bottle. She accidentally drops the soda bottle and spills, oh goodness, 437 milliliters of soda. How much soda is left? So what you have to do is you need to figure out how many milliliters are in 1 liter. So 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, correct? So that soda bottle that she dropped was 1,000 milliliters, and she spilled 437 milliliters. So you have to subtract to find the difference. So this is 3, this is 6, this is 5. Okay, so she still has 563 milliliters of soda. All right, so let's keep going. Whoa. All right, so 3 1/3 yards equals how many feet? So 3 1/3 yards equals how many feet? So we're going from a larger to a smaller, so we're gonna multiply. We're gonna multiply by the number of feet in each yard, which is 3. So we're multiplying 3 1/3 times 3. I'm gonna flip this into an improper fraction right away. So it's 9 10/3 times 3, which equals 30 thirds, which equals 10. So there are 10 feet in 3 1/3 yards. Oh, 28 ounces equals how many pounds? Now, we're going from a smaller to a larger, so we're gonna divide, and we're gonna divide it by the number of ounces in 1 pound, which is 16. And if I divide that, I believe it is 1 with a remainder of 4 plus 8 equals 12/16, which is equal to, they're both have, what, 4 as a factor? So 3/4 pounds. All right, last one. Max buys a watermelon that weighs 8 1/4 kilograms. He also buys a cantaloupe that weighs 1,750 grams. Which weighs more? How many more grams does it weigh? All right, so what you have to do is you have to convert this into grams. Or you could convert this really into kilograms because it's over 1,000. So if Max's watermelon is 8 1/4, that 8 1/4 kilograms, and his first watermelon, sorry, and Max's second watermelon is 1,750. So I'm going to put that into a group of 1,000. So there's one group of 1,000 in there, and then there's 750 over 1,000 left over, which is 75 over 100, or simplified, or here, I'll just do it. This is what it looks like, right? But I can simplify this by dividing them both by 10, and now it's, over 1,000, dividing them both by 10. Now it is 1 75/100, which I can simplify again, divide them both by 25, and now it's 1 3/4, which you probably could have stopped there, knowing that this is a lot smaller than this. So which one weighs more? The first watermelon weighs more, and how much more does it weigh? Okay, so now you have to, well, you can subtract this because they're like denominators, so that's pretty simple, right? However, you're gonna have to borrow 3/4. You know what? We're just gonna convert them into grams because we have to do it anyways. So I'm gonna convert this into grams. So this is 8,000. That 8 kilograms is equal 8,000 grams. And then 1/4 of a kilogram is 250 grams, right? Because 250 is 1/4 of 1,000. And then we're gonna subtract what this is, which is 1,750. And we get 6,500 grams is the difference. Okay. Next one, line plot. This one will go faster and it's easier. All right. The line plot below shows the lengths of George's strings that are in his art box. A lot of arts and crafts today. What is the difference in length between the longest and the shortest piece of string? All right, so this is, each one of these X's represents a piece of string he has in his art box, and wherever it falls on the line plot is how big or how long that string is and it doesn't tell us what. Let's go ahead and assume that this is in inches. How about that? All right, so the smallest length of string is this one right here, and the longest is this one right here. So we have to figure out what fraction that is. So if this is 5 and this is 6, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. So each one of these is a fourth. So that's 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4. And then this one is exactly 8. So we're going to subtract 5 3/4 from 8. Sorry, you can't see that very well. Oh, goodness. All right, and I can't do that, so I'm going to have to borrow from here and make this into 7 4/4. Now I can subtract. That's 1/4, and that's 2. So what's the difference between the longest and the shortest? 2.5 inches. All right. If you put the string, all the string end to end, what is the length of the whole piece of string, I guess? So we're going to use multiplying fractions to figure this out. So we know we have 5 3/4 taken 2 times because there's 2 x's there. We know we have, and we got to figure out this one. This is 1, 2, 3. So it's 6 3/4 times 2. This is 7 1/4. I'm going to put it over here. 7 1/4 times 4. And then 8, right? So to do this, I'm going to throw it into a improper fraction, 23 over 2, which equal, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it that way because it might be easier to add that way. And then this is what is the, wait. That's not 2. 23 times 2. This is 23 over 4 times 2, which equals 46 fourths. And then this one is 24, 25, 26, 27 fourths times 2, which equals 54 fourths. This one's kind of hard. 28, 29 over 4 times 4, which equals 36, 8, 9, 10, 11, 116 over 4, and then 8. So let's add all of these. 116 plus 46 plus 54. Sorry, you can't see that. 12, or this is 10, 16, carry the 1. This is 10, 11, and 1, 2. So this is 216 over 4 plus, should we go ahead and add that? Oh, no, we'll just add the 8 later. So this can go into that 5 times, which is 20, subtract it, 116, 4. So 54 and 8 equals 62 inches. Wow, that took forever. 62 inches. Okay, so that one was tough, but you have been taught all of that work, how to do all of that. It's just making sure you're staying organized and you're keeping track of all of the steps of what to do. So if you need to, obviously, when you take your quiz, you're going to need an extra piece of paper to write down or to do your work. So just make sure you're staying organized. Circle things, put boxes around things to keep track of it. All right, this next one, the line plot below shows the amount of water in cups of 7 containers. If you put all the water inside a large container, what would be the total amount of water in cups? What? All right, the line plot shows the amount of water in 7 cups. Okay, that makes sense. If you put all the water inside one large container, oh, okay, so we've got to do the same thing we just did right here, right? So we got to figure out what these are. So this one is, so if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so this is just 1 1/4, and then this is 1 3/4, right? And there's 2 of them. So 1 3/4 times 2, and then there's 1, 2, and then there's 1, 2 1/4. There is 2 2.5, okay? All right, so let's do that work then. All right, so we've got 1 1/4 plus, this is 7/4 times 2, which is 14/4 plus 2 plus 2 1/4. And then this is for 5 halves times 2 is 10 halves. And since we have to add them, which is actually just 5, can I just leave it at that? So I don't have to convert it or find the equivalent fraction. All right, so then you can just add these. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this into a mixed number. 14/4 is 3 2/4, which is 1/2. Okay, now I can easily add these. So 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 is 1. So our total answer is 14 cups. 14 cups. All right, if the water is redistributed equally, how much water would each container have? So basically what that means is if I took 14 cups of water, this big container that is holding 14 cups of water, and I put them evenly in the 7 cups, how much water would be in each cup. So you're finding the average, right? So 14 divided by 7 equals 2. So there'd be 2 cups of water in each cup. Okay, and this cup means the measurement, 2 cups. And this cup means like the container you put water in, like a solo cup. All right, Andy collects rocks. The length of the rocks are shown below, right? Or right here in this chart. Create a line plot. Okay, so that's not that hard. Oh my goodness, maybe it is because we got to figure out where these are going. So these are broken up into eighths. I went ahead and I gave you the whole numbers. We have to put the unit fraction in there. And so if they're broken up into eighths, I'm first going to break them up into halves. So this would be 2.5, and this would be 3.5, right? So the reason why I'm breaking them into halves is because there is you can easily do half of 8. So you know you're going to have 4 spaces in between 2 and 2.5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now there's 8 spaces in between each of the whole numbers. So now I can easily put my X's on my line plot because now I know where everything is. So 2 and 7/8. So here's 2, there's 3. 7/8 is going to be almost this last one before the 3. 3 and 1/3. Here's 3. And this is going to be one of the 1/3 right here. 2 and 7/8, we already know that one. 2 and 1/8, well, here's 2, so 1/8 is right next to it. Oh, and there's another one. And then 2 and 4/8 is equivalent to 2 and 1/4. So that's what your line plot looks like. Almost done. Oh, so we got to still use that information to find out the average length of the rock. So when we talk about average, it's the same thing as mean. I know you guys did this on your interactive notebook, and if you did my practice sheet or extra practice or watched my video or came to the Google Meets, you'll know how to do this. So you add all of them up, and we did it with the cups too. Add them all up and then divide it by however many entries or how many data points you had. How many rocks in this case. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We have 2 of these, right? So 2 times 1/8. We have 2 of those. So 2 times, wait, this is 2 times 2 and 1/8. Sorry, which I'm gonna flip it into an improper fraction now. 2 and 1/8 is 17/8. And then 7/8, 2 and 7/8. Oh, I can't do that in my head. Times 2. And then we have 2.5. And then 3 and 1/3 by themselves. We don't have to do any work with that one. All right, 17 times 2 equals 14/34. And then this is 16. Oh my goodness, I cannot do math tonight. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 7 is 23 times 2 is 46/8. And then, did I do times 2? Yes, I did. All right, so now I still have to add those. Goodness, this is a long process here. All right, I'm gonna put them back into mixed numbers so I can add them easily, although these aren't equivalent. Gee, many crickets, they're making it hard on me, aren't they? All right, so this one is 4 and 2/8, which is also equivalent to 1/4. And this one right here is 46/8 isn't that 48 times 6 is 48, so 8 times 5 is Jiminy Crickets, 5 and 6/8, which is equivalent to 3/4. All right, so those are both fourths. These can't be 4, so we have to turn them all into 12ths. Oh my gosh, they're making it impossible for us. So 4 1/4 out of 12 equals times 2 or times 3 times 3. Okay, that one wasn't that hard. 5 and something over 12 times 3 times 3. All right, that wasn't that hard either. And then this one is something, oh, that one's not hard either. And then this one is times 4 times 4. Oh, that's not that hard either. I made it a lot more dramatic than I thought it was going to be. All right, so we can add all of the whole numbers. 4 plus, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then I know we're going to have to flip this around. So we've got 3 plus 9 is 12. That's one whole. And then 10, 12. So 3 plus 9 is 10. Plus 6 is 16. Plus 4 is 20. And 20 twelfths is 1 and 10 twelfths. Right? 20 twelfths? Yeah. So this is 1 and 10 twelfths left. So this is 15 and 10 twelfths, which is equivalent to 15 and 5 6. Goodness. Oh, and we're still not done. That's the total length of all of the rocks. So all of the rocks put together are 15 and 5 6. I love math, but come on. So now we have to divide that by however many rocks that we put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need to flip this into an improper fraction again. Oh my gosh, and I can't even do that in my head. I have to go grab a calculator. Goodness, I have one right here. All right, so 15 times 6 equals 90 plus 5, 95 over 6 divided by 6, right? Okay, so to do this, we are going to, because this is a fraction, we're going to do what we learned how to do last week, keep our dividend the same, and then multiply it by the reciprocal, 1/6, so it's 95 over 36. And then we have to divide. Oh my gosh. 95 divided by 36. All right, so I know it's going to be 2 something. Oh, 12. 6, 72. Subtract and get 3. Subtract and get 2. Goodness, that is our answer. I think I may have messed that up somewhere along the lines because that looks funky. But at least you get the idea of how to do it. So that was pretty complicated because you had to do a lot of fraction work. You see why we did all that fraction work for so long? Because you have to do it in order to do things like this. And you might be looking at this going, I will never use this in my real life. You may. All right, last 2. And we are not going to do, oh, this one's not that hard. Saul has 8 bags. He records the weight of each bag on the line. What is the total weight of the 3 heaviest bags? Here's my 3 heaviest bags. So that's not as hard. We don't have to do as much work here. So I have 3.5 plus 3.5 plus, and then we got to figure out what this one is. So if this is 3 and that's 3.5, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. So that is 3 1/4. Okay. So 3.5 plus 3.5, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1/4. That wasn't that hard. What is the total of the lightest 3 bags? Here's 2 and here's 1. So this is 1 1/4, 1 and, oh wait, these are eighths, right? Did I screw that up? No, that was fine. So these are eighths. So yeah, I did mess that up. This is 1, this is 8. Sorry, there's 8 spaces in between each one. So this one right here is 1 1/8, so that's 1 2/8, which is 1 1/4. And there's 2 of them. And then this one right here, well, if this is 1.5, which is also equivalent to 1 4/8. This is 5/8, 6/8, plus 1 6/8. So I might as well change these into 8s, 2/8s, 2/8s to be able to add. So 1, 2, 3. And then 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10/8, which is equivalent to 4 and 2/8, which is 4 and 1/4 pounds, or whatever the rocks are weighing. All right, that was long. Good luck.